So with this assisted hamstring stretch, what you're going to want to grab is a yoga strap or something that's about at least 1 inch to 2 inches wide with it, because you're going to put this right comfortably right on the arch of your foot. You don't want anything too thin like a jump rope, especially doing it barefoot. So you want to make sure that you have something like this yoga strap here. And what I'm going to begin with is this exercise is focused on kind of lengthening the hamstrings and also mobility in your pelvis area. So what we do is wrap this right around the arch of the foot, and now you can start with the opposite knee bent depending on your range of motion. I'm a little tight today, so my range of motion is a little stiff, so I'm going to keep this knee bent, keep the leg that I'm stretching nice and straight, lying flat on my back, keeping the core engaged, and I'm just going to slowly walk my leg straight up, getting a nice comfortable stretch through my hamstring. I'm going to keep my core engaged, and I'm going to make sure that I'm able to breathe throughout this whole time. You don't want to be pulling too hard on any stretches or flexibility work where you feel like you're holding your breath and you can't, and you're like surviving the stretch. That's actually going to create more tension in the air, and you're really not going to get too much benefit out of that. So you want to make sure you can breathe through it and control that range of motion. So the first few times I will kind of hold it up here, bring it down nice and slow, hold it up again, and then maybe eventually progressing where I can extend this leg fully, not just bent like so. We want to try to really extend fully to the floor and keeping that leg nice and locked, flat to the ground. And then I'm working on this stretch again. So I'm bringing it down nice and slow, up, holding, and I could do a little windshield wiper, nice and slow, bringing it back and forth. Don't go too far. And again, you're under a comfortable tension here where you're feeling the muscles stretch, but you're not pulling so hard that it's painful. And then once I get a few stretches going, I feel pretty good. Everything's feeling engaged. I'm extending through this left hip flexor. I'm going to actually control this now through my core, raising the opposite leg to meet the other. Pausing at the top, keeping my core engaged, give it a little tug, and extend that leg, keeping the core tight all the way to the ground, pushing into the floor with this right leg as I'm stretching this leg. So I'm separating my pelvis, really working on hip extension and hamstring flexibility, all the while keeping my core engaged and breathing. As you can see, I'm able to talk. So I'm able to breathe and work on this stretch, extend, pressing, about 5 seconds, and then bring that leg back up through the abdominals, and then slowly right back down. All the while keeping this leg as tall as possible in a comfortable range of motion. Right now, this is pretty comfortable for me. If I did any further, it'd be too tight and I'd create too much tension. And I'm pushing into the ground, really extending the opposite leg, abdominals again, bring it up to meet, and then pause, right back down. Taking your time with this. You'll feel a stretch to the hamstring, as well as a little bit of a stretch in that hip flexor and that quadricep area, which is what we want. So we're really separating here.